Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Eric with American Business Systems, and I want to be welcoming you this afternoon to our weekly webinar for you as a prospective ABS licensee. So thank you for joining us this afternoon. So somewhat as an introduction for those that this is your first time, let me tell you welcome. Let me tell you a little bit about American Business Systems. It's been around for a few days, at least 26 years, and they're a proud company, good family-owned company, and those that are not actually related to the Phillipses, they treat all of us as family, so we appreciate that. We're going to be talking to you about our award-winning billing and EMR platform. This is kind of the central thing to all of everything that we've got going on here at American Business Systems. We'll talk a little bit about iClaim, about EMRX, show you a little bit how it works. And if you haven't seen it, we're going to actually show you how to get a demonstration of it so that you can actually see that here as well. Looks like we've got some more folks that came in. Mike can hear me, Lynette, Olin, Lee, great, Deborah, good, thank you so much. Joseph, thank you so much. Folks, we've helped folks from all over the country, all walks of life, every nationality that you can think of. Folks that have come in from the medical field, some that have never knew how to spell medical. They've come in as contractors, real estate people, and obviously we've had nurses and doctors and billers come into here too as well. So we look forward to helping you as well. Here is our suite of services that we have. As you can see here, we've kind of moved some things around, trying to give it a little bit of a fresh look and update here. And also we've added some new services. You see up at the top, that top white box at the top is telehealth. I'm sure by now, because of the coronavirus and everything that's going on with the COVID-19 outbreak and pandemic, that telehealth should not be something that you're non-familiar with anymore. Matter of fact, my wife and my 85-year-old mother had a televisit with her doctor today. And so, folks, I mean, this is happening every day of the week now. And it's and we've got it not only built in iClaim and EMRX, we also have it as a separate standalone. So if you're working with a doctor that doesn't already using our platform, you can certainly be able to help them out. Again, I'm going to introduce you to my co-host who's going to be helping me this afternoon. That is Patrick Phillips. He's the founder and the CEO of American Business Systems. Actually, he and his wife over 26, 27, 28 years ago started doing medical billing. It was actually Linda, his wife, that started that. And Patrick says, you're making some money at this. And then they started doing it. And then he turned it into a business opportunity that has actually helped thousands of people coast to coast. He is also not only just the founder and the CEO, but he's an author, writing some books now, but we'll talk briefly about the new Thriving Medical Practice. He's also a contributing editor, author for the Billing Coding magazine. So Patrick, without any further ado, let's get started. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hey, we do have a big crowd here today. I guess a lot of folks are still at home. Maybe they are working from home, just taking a little break to watch this webinar. But folks, we do appreciate your time. If you're looking to start a business working from home, Eric, I can't think of a better business right now to be in, but the healthcare field, especially one that's helping doctors to stay in private practice and increase their revenue. They're struggling right now, aren't they?
Exactly. They are struggling, and doctors they're not struggling because of the COVID, but they are struggling because of COVID, because if you think about it, they were probably struggling prior to, and then when this hit, and then their volumes of patients went down for a while, that put a lot of doctors in some thinking, I better do something differently about how I'm going to do medical billing, how I'm making sure I'm getting paid. So, Patrick, just Friday, this last week, we did a kind of a roundtable type of thing here with some of our licensees. And I asked the question, I said, okay, so how are you guys marketing in this COVID pandemic, and you can't get out, and obviously you can't go see anybody. I think the gentleman that you're going to be interviewing next week, don't want to take his thunder, but he says, ABS has shown me ways to be able to market to doctors, and I'm still getting appointments set.
Yes, Daniel Elliott. I'll be interviewing him next week on this live webinar at 4 p.m. Central Time. So we'll tell you more about that towards the end here. Well, Eric, let's jump into this topic, earn an ROI quickly with one client. Now, Eric, I don't really know, honestly. I've looked at a lot of businesses over the years, franchises and business opportunities. I don't know of any of them that will let you earn a return on your investment as quickly as this one with one client. That's all it takes is one client, and you've gotten all your money back that you've invested in the business. That's pretty risk-free when you think about it.
That is risk-free, and it's not just a client that just, you've got one sale and you're done with that one doctor. That's a continual revenue stream that keeps happening. So you're going to see that you're going to get your return on investment within the first year with just one client, but it just doesn't stop there, as you'll see here today. Patrick, let's also remind everybody that if they'll go look over in the control panel, towards the bottom, you'll see a little place over there called handouts. We have today's webinar already there, so you can go grab it, download it, print it out. You can follow along with us, take notes on it, and you can be able to do that. So let's talk about what a return on investment really is, because Patrick, some doctors may not even know exactly what this is all about.
Well, yeah, it's pretty simple. Any business that you start, you're going to have an investment in that business, whatever it is, a franchise fee. If you're opening your own sandwich shop and don't buy a franchise for that, then you still have to invest money in the kitchen materials and, of course, all of the ingredients for the sandwich and so forth. So there's always an investment in any business that you start out. Now, folks, if you don't think that there is an investment in most businesses that's worthwhile, it's because if they don't have a good investment, I mean a pretty hefty investment of some kind, then they're probably not a real business. They're probably just a scam. Lots of stuff on the internet, Eric, right now being advertised as a work at home opportunity, and it's $500 or $1,000 or whatever. Folks, if you really want to make a 6 or 7 figure income like some of our licensees are returning, you've got to invest some money. Ours just happens to be $28,000. Eric, I don't know why we came up with it. It's $27,990. It's kind of like at Walmart. Nothing's a dollar. It's always 97 cents. So we put it right there. But I always just use that rounded out term, about $28,000. So folks, we're going to show you how you can get that back. That's called a return on your investment with just having one client.
Yeah, so again, for those that may not be aware of what a return on investment, you've made an investment. And again, let's just talk American Business Systems. It's $28,000, so you've invested that. And what you want is, how do I at least get that and get to what you consider to be just a simple break even, that you've made your investment, you got some clients, you're at that break even. So now everything after that is just profit. You're considered to be in the black. And Patrick, I mean, you've been at this a really long time in helping folks get started in businesses. You've done a lot of networking meetings way back when, and you would help counsel and do some consulting for people that were looking to get in certain businesses. And I know the rule of thumb is that normally it takes about 2 years, a minimum of 2 years, for most people to see a return on their investment.
That's right. It takes about 2 years on average for a new business to show, to get in the black ink, out of the red ink, and be profitable. 2 years. Now, Eric, that's not something that's unreasonable, because it takes time to build any business. Right. You've got to get your first client. You've got to get money flowing in. And then, of course, you have to have hopefully some referrals and get other clients. The great thing about this business is that I've interviewed, as you know, dozens of our licensees who say in the live recorded interviews that they got their ROI within, some of them, 6 months. Right. Now, some of them take longer than that. Obviously, there's people who take a year or more. It depends on how quickly they get that first client, and that depends on whether they're doing this business full time or maybe they're just building it part time. We have a lot of people who start part time, and that's fine. It's just going to take you longer to get your your investment back. Right.
Yeah, because a lot of people may still be working another part-time job, or you're working a full-time job, but you know that you may be winding that one up, or you may see that there may be another pandemic outbreak, and then what are you going to do? So, I mean, obviously you've got some things to do. So again, what we're going to do is just really kind of just lay it out in three little sections here. What we're going to talk to you about is obviously we're going to talk to you about an investment, obviously what your return is. So that's kind of your break even. And when do you start finding success? And we're going to do that with another franchise that's out there that everybody kind of knows. Patrick, you know it very well because not only have you consulted people going into this one particular sandwich shop thing, I think even Adam actually worked at one of them.
Well, yes, he at 15, Adam was actually a sandwich artist and at Subway. Now, folks, I'm using this example because I have a close friend who actually invested in a Subway sandwich shop. Now, I was shocked at how much it takes to open a sandwich shop. I mean, it's a little bitty space, as most people know. It just has a little kind of a place where you put all the ingredients, a cash register. There's a kitchen in the back, I guess, for prepping. But there's not a whole lot to these little shops. But this guy said it took him about over $100,000 to open one Subway shop. And he says there are some, depending on the location, depending on this area of the country, that can go up to $263,000, depending on how large it is, how fancy it is. There's some that are, fancier than others. And so there's the investment range for a Subway shop. Now, here's what I want people to stop and think about, Eric. I think you know how to make a sandwich, don't you? and don't you know what goes into a sandwich?
Yes.
It's bread, meat, cheese, and some veggies, right? And some dressing. That's it's not rocket science, and yet people are willing to invest this kind of money because Subway has a system. And if you follow the system, you can't help but be successful. That's why we call our company American Business Systems, because we really do have systems in place that the people who follow it, Eric, they're all successful. So now, the shocking thing to me was that he invested this kind of money to get one open, and he thought he was going to make $100,000 his first year, and it turned out he made about, I don't know, 40,000 or something like that. And people don't realize that that's the average return on a Subway shop is about $30,000 to $45,000 in their first year.
Right. Well, and I also want to make sure that everybody knows that right down here at the bottom, we got these numbers. We just didn't pull these numbers out from just anywhere, but we did pull these numbers from that website, so you can go take a look at it. And then Patrick was again saying that the first year Subway investment, after you make your first investment of that $170,000 to $200,000 plus, you're going to be making about $30,000 to $45,000 a year. Now, that number is going to be very, very important for you to understand when we do some comparisons here.
Isn't that shocking? I mean, to me, that's shocking because I know what our licensees can make in their first year. And I'm thinking, you invest that kind of money and you're only looking at $30,000 to $45,000. Now that may sound like a lot of money to a lot of people, but remember, you invested $117,000 plus, so you're not going to earn that back for what, 3 years at least.
Right.
And to me, that was shocking. Now, so my friend said to me one day, I was just talking to him about his business. We were having dinner, and I said, "Well, how's it going?" He said, "Well, I'm not making what I thought I was going to make the first year. I should have done a little more research on this and asked some of the existing Subway franchisees what kind of net profit there is." And he said, "So now I've got to go open another one." And so he opened a second one. Eric, he still did not make his $100,000 a year goal. And so he opened another one. Now anyway, short story is he has 5 of them now. Now imagine dealing with 5 Subway shops, and all you're dealing with is a bunch of teenagers who can't even clean their own room. And so he's dealing with those people calling in with fake excuses as to why they can't make it in today, and a lot of turnover in that business. And he finally made his $100,000, but that was only because he had owned 3 or 4 when he got to that point.
Before we go any further, Patrick, Mike's got a great question here because we mentioned something, and I always like to address top of the mind things with most people here.
Yeah.
And that since the numbers of patients are down, isn't this the wrong time for me to start this type of business? Well, I'm going to answer that two ways. Number one, don't listen to Patrick and me. I'd like for you to ask that question next week when you hear from Dan. Or is it Dan or is it
Dan? Yeah, Dan Elliott. Yeah.
Dan Elliott? Excuse me. Ask that question of him because I think he'll be able to give you a much better answer than Patrick and I would. However, since we do know what he is saying, now is the perfect time because doctors are trying to figure out what they need to do differently in the event that they end up with another crisis in the way that they did. There are doctors that are not only surviving, but they are thriving because they were doing some of the things right. Well, guess who those are? Those are the ones that are being taken care of by ABS licensees. Now is the perfect time because there are some doctors out there that are trying to scramble to try to figure out what they need to do differently if this ever happens again, so that they don't ever find it, even if their numbers do go down, they're still in a good position. And remember, we've added the telehealth way before telehealth was even around. Prior to even the COVID-19 outbreak, we were doing telehealth even prior to that. So a lot of our doctors were set. So Mike, again, don't take our word for it. Really save that question for next Wednesday. Come back, be a part of next Wednesday's webinar. Ask that of Dan and let him, give his 2 cents on that. So hopefully that helped answer your question there, Mike.
Yeah, Eric, as you know, my son-in-law works at a hospital, and he says there are a lot of doctors that have been laid off at the hospitals because of the slowdown. I mean, they're not seeing as many COVID patients as they thought they would, and so people who have elective stuff that they normally have done, even heart examinations and things like that, that's way down right now because people don't want to go and show up at the hospital. So guess what we have right now happening? We have doctors who are unemployed who are now going to be starting their own private practice. Some of them going back into private practice because they had joined the hospital thinking that they would be, secure at a hospital situation. So it's the perfect time. Mike, you've probably heard this saying. Some famous rich guy many, many years ago, back in the 40s, said something about there's a way to get rich. The way to get rich is to find a need and fill it. Well, guess what? The need right now is that doctors need to earn the kind of money that they used to earn in private practice, and those who are still in private practice, they're not earning near what they thought they were going to. So when you can present to them a way that you can increase their revenue by up to 30%, when you can get them all into telehealth almost instantaneously, those are the kinds of things that can make a huge difference for these doctors. So it's like, I tell people, it's like selling popsicles in the Sahara Desert. It's pretty simple. And you'll see that when you hear the interview with Daniel. We happen to know that because Daniel was one of the licensees. We had 3 of our licensees, actually 4 on the telephone, one of them, last Friday. And so we know what Daniel has said already about, and he just acts like this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I couldn't be in a better place right now than in this business. They all said that, didn't they, Eric?
They all did. Because there's one other thing, Mike, that again, whoever you're working with at ABS, they're one of your advisors, coaches, whatever we call them anymore. I can't remember, but who you're dealing with. There is with that whole telehealth part of it, there is a part of it that we're launching called chronic care management. And Patrick, again, I ran some more numbers today. And if the doctor did nothing else, just got on telehealth and started doing chronic care management, that doctor could add another $300,000 to $350,000 a year in their revenue. Right. Now, you couple that with what we can do on the billing side of it, you've got an incredible proposition to give to a doctor. And that's why doctors are sitting up listening, because they know telehealth, chronic care management, what they're currently doing is all the future. It's all what's happening right now.
Yeah, it is the future. I think we'll be at Star Trek level soon, where they'll just be able to, over the phone, diagnose whatever's wrong with your body and instantly send something your way that would cure you. Okay, so with Subway, back to Subway, we figured out that you'd need at least 4 restaurants to have an ROI of $117,000 to $263,000. So 4 restaurants minimum to get your return on your investment. And so you got all those, the time and the headaches, et cetera, et cetera. With ABS, folks, as we mentioned earlier, our investment is only $27,990. There it is, $28,000, let's call it. And folks, the return on our investment can be between $30,000 to $39,000 the very first year.
Right.
And that's with one client, one doctor. So Eric, we're going to prove that to him here in just a second, aren't we?
You bet. And if you think about it again, kind of do the math there. I'm going to kind of go back to this right over here to that Subway figure that we were just looking at just a moment ago. Remember that if you had your return on that, remember what that was. Remember that's what that was. So remember, I told you, remember that number there, because what it is with American Business Systems is that plus maybe a little bit more there. So those, like I said, those that are in the math and you're in the numbers, this is your webinar. So we're diving into this. So again, your success. Remember the success for a Subway to get to the $100,000 mark was 4 doctors. Imagine if you had 1 doctor, your ROI is going to be 30 to 39,000. Just think if you had 4 doctors.
Yeah, you said with Subway you'd have to have 4 doctors. You meant 4 restaurants.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, so
4
look,
restaurants.
Look, we all have on our phones nowadays the calculators, right? But I'm going to get my old-fashioned calculator out here, Eric, and folks, you should do this too, because we're about to show you how you'll see for yourself that it's easy to come up with this kind of a return. So let's start with the typical doctor, Eric. How many patients a day are they going to normally see?
Yeah, I mean, again, folks, we got one doctor here. They're going to see 20 patients a day, and that's typical what you're going to see again. And we are going way low. I mean, Patrick, you and I have both been to the doctors. I'm sure people have been to the doctors, taken their kids to the doctors. You think that there's 20 patients in there right before you. I mean, that's the way it feels like. But
well, with NPs and PAs and registered nurses helping the doctor, they can literally see twice that many a day in a typical small office. But I've sat in an office when there were 20 people in the waiting room at the same time. Now that's not happening right now, but what they're doing right now is they're spacing that out so they can see, let's say, 4 patients an hour, and over 5 hours they're seeing 20 patients a day. So that's just, again, numbers. We can pull those out of the air, folks. We'll show you how to, in a minute. You can punch this into our calculator that we have online and come up with your own figures. But and then the $100 per patient, Eric.
Yep.
I almost feel like that's low nowadays, but that may be what a doctor actually gets paid. They may be, charging $150, $175 for a visit, but $100 is, what they're actually getting paid. So that's the number that we use for that. So that's 20. That's $2,000 a day. Now that sounds like a lot of money, but for a doctor's office with the overhead they have, Eric, that's not a whole lot, is it?
It's not a whole lot. I mean, again, that's why we're kind of really going low on the numbers, but we're doing this for a purpose so that you can see what we're telling you as your potential first return on your investment with one doctor can be about $30,000. So you got 100 patients that the doctor's seeing. That's about 20 patients a day, $2,000 a day. And if you got a typical doctor seeing that amount, so the doctor's generating about $40,000 a month. Okay, so again, you got your 20 patients, that equals $2,000 a day. Now, let's say that you're doing the billing. Okay, so now that's what we're doing. You're going to be doing the billing for one doctor. So that's why we're pulling these numbers out. So let's say that you're billing the doctor for about $2,000 a day. You're charging the doctor about 7%, which is about $140 a day for what you're making. Now, again, Patrick, if we think about it, $140 a day is not bad, specifically when you find out that it's only going to take you about an hour and a half to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, that 7%, we're pulling that out of the air because nationwide, our licensees will charge anywhere from 5 to 9%. So it's just a number. Again, folks, we'll show you on our calculator at our website that you can plug in your own numbers if you want to play with those and see. we're trying to be as conservative as we can here and yet show you the potential that's in the business. So that's $140 a day that you'd be earning, working about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, let's say. And then, of course, we multiply that times 5 days a week. That's $700 a week. Now, wait, Eric, I wouldn't get excited about $700 a week. That's, again, it's a part-time job, though. That's not bad. But wait till you see the potential when you get the number of licensees that our average licensee has, which is not one doctor, but well, we'll show you here in a second.
Well, again, what we're trying to do is get to your ROI. So again, imagine working an hour and a half, maybe let's stretch it out. Let's just go ahead and call it 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
For a year. And again, that's the minimum. You know, in 52 weeks, in 1 year, you're going to make $36,400. Patrick, you have paid for your license fee, and you've got a little bit extra for Christmas there.
Yeah, little spending money, a little gasoline money there, grocery money nowadays, toilet paper money. Yeah, that's
toilet paper money.
And that's with only one client. Now, folks, the average licensee, as you'll see if you listen to some of the interviews that I've done over the years, has 5 clients. Now, that's a good round number. It's how many fingers you have on one hand. So when we say that you get basically 5, we're talking about you're probably working 6 to 8 hours a day. So that's why, without having to hire anybody else, you can do 5 a day. Now, this is the actual calculator on our website. You see the website at the bottom of the screen there. Go to income potential at the top there, and you'll see a little calculator that you can punch in the numbers. Let's talk about those numbers there, Eric. It's kind of tiny, but we can kind of
so
talk
instead
about
of just
those.
putting one doctor there, we went ahead and put our 5 doctors there. But again, you already know what the numbers are for 5 because that was right about $36,000. Remember, that's the only number that we turned in there. And imagine that you were able to get 4 or 5 doctors to do the billing for within your first year, seeing 20 patients a day, 5 days a week. You're charging your 7% of $100. Click submit, and you're going to make $182,000 a year serving those 5 offices.
Yeah, that's $15,000 a month. Now, folks, if that doesn't get you excited, then go look for some other business, because I don't know of another business that you can work the same hours you're working right now, full time, if you still have a job, and make $15,000 a month in a legitimate business that's not a gimmick. This is not a multi-level marketing scheme. It's not anything to do with selling stuff over the internet. This is servicing doctors in your area that need help right now.
Right. And so, these numbers are just, we're not inflating these numbers. We're not trying to blow smoke to you. Even if you took half of this, that's nearly $6,000 to $7,000 a month, working 2, 2.5, maybe 3 doctors. So again, that is a decent income. And even at that, you're almost at $100,000 anyway. So, for when we're doing our comparison, this is what we finally want to get to and talk about the comparison. And again, we're using Subway because, again, everybody is kind of familiar with that. So everybody's looking at that. So if your cost is at their bottom was $117,000.
Ours is pause.
Oh, yep. Thank you. I appreciate that.
There you go.
Yep. 117,000 for Subway and 28,000 for American Business Systems. The first year, you're going to make 30 to 45,000 at that. You're going to make over here 39,000 over here on that. So again, it would take 4 restaurants to get to those numbers that we're talking about of 100,000. And then you've got 1 doctor over here. So now let's come over here to get that 4 restaurants to make your return on your first investment. Remember, you'd have to have done this 4 times with Subway, 117. So 117 times 4. But to make your original $117,000 back, you would have had to have that. And again, you're going to get your return on investment with 1 doctor because, again, you're $28,000. Imagine if you were working with 10 restaurants or with 10 doctors. You're at, nearly $500,000 with 10 doctors over here. And you can see the numbers here. The reason that we did this, imagine the investment. you had to make one investment of $28,000 with ABS, you would have had to do 117,000 10 times. So,
Yeah.
Patrick, again, it just doesn't make sense to go kind of down that route with that. So that's just what we're wanting to try to show you. You got unlimited doctors for a one-time fee of $28,000 with American Business Systems.
Eric, let's address some of the questions that I see coming in there. Lynette is asking, how long will it take to complete the licensing?
Sure.
Lynette, we're gonna go into detail about that towards the end, but we have an online training course that you go through at your own pace, and you can get through that in 30 days or less. It's not a big deal. Now, there's lots of other learning that we have, ongoing training after the 8 modules that you'll go through online with a live instructor. But that's all it would take is about 30 days, and you're ready to go. You're ready to hit the ground running. Nevin says timing is everything. And boy, that's the truth right now. I can't think of a better time to start this business, Eric. People always talk about me and my wife. We started this back in the 90s, and they think, well, boy, if I'd have started back then, it would have been better. No, it's better today, especially since we already have the system worked out and proven that we didn't have back then. I had to learn everything on my own, Eric. So I didn't have a system to follow.
Yeah, and Raj is asking, if I charge 7% to the client, what other fees would they need to pay to ABS? Well, they don't pay anything to ABS. ABS is not who the client pays. The
Right.
client will pay you. You're charging them the 7%. So that's basically all that you're going to be there. And then Raj is asking, well, hey, Patrick, how does ABS keep making money if there's just a one-time investment of $28,000?
I'm glad you asked that, Raj, because we're going to show you here in just a moment with some of the ancillary services. Well, all of them. And we make a few pennies on all the transactions that go through our system. So that's not money that you pay us. I'm just telling you that because, well, I wouldn't even have to tell people, Eric, but I think it's better to be upfront that the way we continue in business and provide lifetime support for our licensees is because we do make a few pennies on all the transactions, on all of the services that go through our system. That's not something you pay to us. It's just money that's coming through the system that we take a few pennies out of that. Raj, we'll show you in more detail about that here in just a second.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about, for that 28,000, what are you getting? What are you getting with here at ABS? So we're going to spend the next 25 minutes here kind of going through what you are getting here at American Business Systems. First of all, you're getting one of the only integrated cloud-based services that has billing, electronic medical records, their own clearinghouse, and its own patient portal.
Yeah, Eric, I don't know how to explain this to people who are on here for the first time, but folks, just trust us that if you're looking at getting into medical billing, you need a cloud-based system. There are services out there that will do something similar to what we do, train you and teach you how to do this business, but they have software that installs on your computer and on the doctor's computer, and that's not the way to go. And they let you choose your own clearinghouse. They make a big deal out of that. Well, folks, you don't want to do that because you don't know which clearinghouse is the best. Ours happens to be the best. We have a less than 2% rejection rate on all the claims that go through our system, and that's because it's built into our system. You don't have to set it up with a third-party company like you do others. Aaron, before I forget it, I just accidentally hit that little trash can out beside a question that's the one below Olin Smith. So I'm hoping that still shows on your screen, whoever that was.
It is. It's Deborah. I got it.
Okay, we want to be sure and address that. I just got carried away here and clicked on that trash can instead of on the question itself, so it deleted it out of my question box.
Yeah.
Okay, so Eric, what else about an integrated clearinghouse? I don't know how to show people how important that is, but folks, you don't have to pick from the clearinghouses that are out there. You don't know which one's the best.
Yeah, so if folks, if you look at the screen here and take a look at everything from the middle to the left, the patient portal, the doctor's EMR system, the iClaim, and the clearinghouse, that's all the entire package. With many other services that are out there that are billing services, you have to have a separate clearinghouse. So imagine that clearinghouse outside of your billing system and kind of stand between you and now the insurance companies. What this does, this gives a seamless transaction, if you want to call it, or a seamless process from patient that they can fill out everything that they need to fill out at home to the doctor's office. It'll feed all that information directly into the doctor's EMR system. From there, it's going to go into the iClaim system for you to do the billing. And because the clearinghouse is inside of there, because it scrubs it even further, and then it gets it formatted directly for those insurance companies. So that's all done internally inside the system, so that when the claim leaves the system, it's already been processed, cleared the clearinghouse, so that when you get it to the insurance companies, those are clean claims ready to be paid, no wasting time. So from the time that the patient goes sees the doctor to the time the insurance gets it could literally be within 24 to 48 hours of that claim. And then obviously that helps speed up, expedites the patient, the payments back to the doctor. So we're getting doctors paid within 5 to 7 days, and then we're getting that with such an incredible high return that there are no claims being rejected, just practically no claims being rejected.
I mentioned earlier that our rejection rate through our clearinghouse is less than 2%. Now, to compare that with other clearinghouses that are out there, folks, they can be up to 20 to 30% rejection rate. So that's why you don't want to pick your own clearinghouse. That's why you want a system that has that built in and that we're in charge. That means, folks, the buck stops here, right? If it doesn't get paid, it's our fault. It's not some third party that you then can point to and blame it on them. That's very important if you're doing research on this business, to pick a company like ours that has, in fact, I think we're the only one, Eric, that I know of that has a clearinghouse that's built into the system.
So far as I'm pretty sure that that's where we still are. And then again, what you're getting here again is everything that you're seeing here. It's fully integrated. You can do specialized doctors. It helps increase the revenue. All the customer service is U.S. based. It's very affordable, customizable. It's been certified. It's been around since '98. It's got its own mobile charting in there for the EHR. It really does have anything and everything that you need actually to help a doctor get up and going. Now, Olin does say, I did want to kind of get to his question there. So, he does ask the question, well, how long does it take for a licensee to actually get their first client?
Yeah, and again, don't ask me that question. Don't ask Eric. We might make something up. We go only by the facts that our licensees tell us. And the best way for you to verify that is just go listen to some of those interviews. Look, at the end of this webinar, we'll tell you how to get a list of licensees that are willing to take your phone call. These are real people all over the country that have gotten in our business, gone through our training, and they've gotten their business up and running. They'll tell you themselves. Ask them that question. Every one of them. There's probably 3 or 4 dozen that you can call and just ask them how long it takes to get your first client. Now, I'll go ahead and tell you that there are some I've interviewed, Eric, that have said it took me a year to get the first client. But when you dig deep, you find out that those people didn't get started until 3 or 4 months after they completed our training because they had other things going on in their life, and that they were just working it part-time because they still had a full-time job. So it, again, depends on a lot of things. Now, in general, though, Olin, I can tell you that we have interviewed, most licensees will tell us it's going to be from 30 to 90 days on average. Now, that's kind of like those weight loss ads you see on TV. The average person might lose 25 pounds in a month. That don't mean you're going to. Everybody's different.
That's right. And so, I would say, Olin, I mean, it takes everybody so different times, as Patrick just mentioned. It's going to take, like, some could have them within 3 weeks. Some could have them within 3 months. Some could have them in 6 months. Some have them within a year. But again, this is why we are being so transparent with you, that we're not going to tell you, you jump in with us, you're going to have a doctor in 30 days, because we're going to give you a list of doctors to feed from. That is setting you up strictly for failure. What we're doing is we're talking with you with a real business that you have to go work. You have to get the work in, and you have to talk with doctors and engage with doctors. And we're going to show you exactly how we're even going to show you to engage with doctors. So,
hey, Eric, let me just say this. If there is somebody out there that you talk to, folks, in this business, who tells you that we're going to give you a list of doctors they're indicating that those doctors are ready to sign up with you, and they're not. If they were, why don't they just sign them up themselves, right? Here in Texas, we call that type of thing bovine excrement. So just let that sink in for a second. And hey, by the way, great question here from Joe. He's a disabled veteran. He says, no background in the medical field at all. How easy is this to learn? And would my spouse be able to be a partner with me? First of all, Joe, thank you for your service. And I'm just so appreciative of the fact that people look into this business who are veterans, Eric, because this is the perfect business for them. There is nothing, this is not brain surgery. Joe, and by the way, we have a money back guarantee. If you go through our training and you say, you know what, this is harder than I thought it was going to be, I want my money back, you get your money back. So you can't make a mistake with us. Now, if that's not true of another company and they are not offering you a money back guarantee, something's wrong. Because once you sent your money to somebody, folks, it's a done deal. So anyway, that's the answer. And yes, your wife can go through the training with you. If you have a spouse or a partner that wants to sit through the live training modules with you, or even watch them, we record them so you can show them to them later, then that's fine. We don't care, you know, if you have somebody who's going to help you in the business. In fact, we encourage that for husbands and wives. That's how my wife and I built our business. We work together.
Deborah, the one that you did accidentally click out of there a little bit, Deborah asked, are you able to reach out to other fields, dental, eye, chiropractor, all in need? Deborah, yeah, there are some specific doctors that you'll need to do billing for. In the iClaim system, which we're looking at right now, takes what's called a CMS 1500 form. Now, dentists don't bill, they don't bill on that. Some eye doctors do bill on that. Chiropractors bill on a CMS 1500 form. So kind of going in your order there, you're really not going to do anything with dental because this is medical billing. It's not dental billing, and that is actually two separate types of billings because obviously we're dealing with the Medicare, Center of Medicare and Medicaid Services. So we're dealing with the CMS 1500 form. Again, you'll be able to do some eye doctors. You could do all chiropractors. So the iClaim system will do that for you. So again, what you're getting for the investment is, again, access to use the iClaim system and the EMRX system. So if you haven't seen these in operation, Patrick and I encourage you to get back with whoever asked you to get to the webinar today and let them set up and do a demonstration of this. And we'll even show you how to get that set up here in just a little bit.
Hey, Eric, I'm just looking ahead here on the slides. There's a slide right before the map of the United States down there, about 10 slides further down, that actually shows the specialties. I'd like to show that right now since she asked the question, what other types of doctors, you know, can you do the billing for? And folks, you'll see that it's a huge list. And this is not even a complete list of all the specialties that you can do billing for. There it is. Look at all these. And these are just some, I think, that are just one particular part of the country. We have numbers out there beside them. But the point is, Eric, those may be the ones that we've actually had licensees sign up. Anyway, the point is, there's a lot of specialties out there that you can approach. So every one of those, I don't even know what some of those are, you know, nuclear medicine, for example. But anyway, the point is that our licensees are doing billing for every type of specialty there is out there.
Yep, you bet.
Okay.
All right, so
let's see.
What you get for the investment here, again, we've already talked about telehealth. We won't kind of go through that very, very much because we're just going to kind of go through a couple of these services that you do have. But we want to start off with telehealth because, Patrick, again, everybody's doing telehealth right now. They kind of got it now. And this is what happened with COVID-19, as bad as it is for healthcare. It has changed the landscape of how doctors are going to do medicine from here on out.
It has opened up their eyes, and that's why the government even said, okay, you can even do it across state lines now. So, Eric, and they're able to bill for a lot of things that they weren't able to bill before the COVID came along. So, again, blessings in disguise. This is the thing, folks, that can open some doors for you. You literally, it means doctors and patients can talk to each other over a smartphone, a computer, or any other device, like a tablet or an iPad. And for people living in remote areas, it's often the only way that they can consult a doctor without a long commute. So, Eric, this is definitely something that licensees should take note of. Folks, we could probably sell this as a separate business opportunity in and of itself, because it is that profitable for the doctors and for you to get doctors involved in telehealth right now.
Mike, we're going to reserve your question to the very end. I love that question, and so just hang in there. We haven't forgotten, and we haven't stepped over you on purpose or anything. We're going to get to your question. Let's wrap up with a few of these slides here. Patrick, again, what else they're getting for this? They're getting the obviously iClaim, EMRX, the telehealth, brand new service, and I want to say this: our licensees did not have to pay anything extra for us adding services for them. This is you just keep getting all of these, because again, what Patrick says, as our licensees and our doctors use them, there's a little bit of money that does come back on the back end for ABS. And it again, that will kind of help answer Mike's question there, because there's much better revenue for that for ABS, and it frees you as a licensee not having to pay franchise fees. So, all right, so you get Quick Collect. Patrick, let's talk about what Quick Collect is about.
Yeah, and we're going to go through these really fast, folks. You can learn more about these on our website and through our virtual brochure, which will show you how to get here in just a little while, a research guide it's called. Quick Collect allows you to help the doctor collect the money that's due to him from patients that were self-pay, that haven't paid. Now, it's not a collection agency. It's all done online through a cloud-based system, and it automatically collects the money from patients. It's a tremendous opportunity in and of itself. Again, all of these were added over the years, folks, one at a time, as we ran across different things our licensees needed to offer to the doctors. And we said, why don't we come up with a service that'll solve that need? This one, AutoCard, solves the need of doctors knowing how to bill their practice and get more patients. It's an automated online system of creating literally printed cards that literally print out and mail to their patients to get them back in for immunizations, for wellness checks, and so forth. So that one also will help you build your business. By the way, we'll show you we have some automated campaigns that go out that do that for you. ChoicePay.
Yep.
Eric, you want to just cover each one of these real quickly, because I know we only have a few minutes left here. ChoicePay allows the doctor to set up payment plans for the patient, automated payment plans, so that the patient can pay out their balance so they don't have to write a check for the full amount. It's a very unique way of helping to finance for those patients who owe balances that the insurance didn't cover, or if they're self-paid. So another service that you can offer. Again, all of these are optional. You don't have to offer any of these if you don't want to. Audit Guard protects the doctor from
coding audits.
Yeah, just audits from the Medicare. They'll go in sometimes and audit the patient's payments and see if he's overcharging, overbilling for some of the things. This protects against that by looking at his codes. And if he doesn't have all of his codes down correctly, we have certified medical coders who offer a service called CodeWrite to you and the doctor that allows them to find the codes that are maximizing their revenue. We can increase their revenue sometimes up to 30%, as the flyer shows there. Then if the doctor has current records that he'd like to get online, searchable from anywhere in the world that has a computer connection, iDocs Now solves that problem. They have to keep those records for up to 7 years, and that can take up a lot of space in their office, but not with iDocs Now. It eliminates that. Eric, we use this, as you know, and if people come to our offices, they can't find any file cabinets because we don't have any paper.
Exactly. And so, folks, not only do we have all the services, but we have marketing material for all of the services. And so, Patrick, what did they get? They get a little over 2,000 marketing pieces out of all of this. It's all professionally done. It's high gloss. It's not something cheap that you go, man, this is cheap. This is actually.
It makes them look like that they're a part of a nationwide network. And that's why, because they are. And it's not like you're just working out of your spare bedroom. It looks like you're a franchise because we've designed the materials to all look and have the same look and feel. There are postcards that I mentioned earlier that go out automatically that will build your business. And there's, well, in fact, I think there's another slide that shows the other side of the postcards. Anyway, the point is, folks, we spent a lot of money designing these materials, and that's all inclusive in your package. Now, if you run out of the first 2,000 of the marketing materials, of course, you can reorder those at our printing cost. We literally have a printer that just passes on his printing costs to our licensees.
Yeah.
We have websites. You don't have to set up your own website because we have those already designed. We have templates that you can pick from that are beautiful, that make it look like you're really a real business in business for yourself. And we've got those already designed for you. That's included in your license fee as well. And then Eric, wow, we do live demos for the licensees. Let's talk about that just for a second, because I know you've done some of those.
Yeah, we do. I do them. We've got other folks that help you do them. We help you in demonstrating to the doctor how you can use the system in order to get the revenues in for that doctor. Now, we're doing that not only for iClaim, we're doing it for EMRX. We can do some demos for you for telehealth. So we are expanding all that we're doing in what would help you to get done for marketing. Now, last week we talked briefly about, I wish we'd have added this in here to this slide, but we also do done for you webinars. Now, the webinar that Patrick and I are doing is a webinar directly to you so that you can discover, is this the right business for you? Now, imagine that American Business Systems, with the organization that actually gets you certified, which is MERMA, which is the Medical Revenue Management Association of America, they are doing webinars just like this on behalf of our licensees to show doctors. Now, again, you're not having to do the webinar. It's these people here that are doing the webinars for you who have great success. They're already working with doctors, but they're doing it on your behalf as a MERMA affiliate. Not an American Business Systems affiliate, but a MERMA affiliate. And that's what's making your marketing so much easier than we've ever done anything before.
Yeah, we call them done for you marketing webinars. And we do the webinars, our professionals do them. You invite the doctors and the office managers to attend them, and then you follow up on those. But we've done all the hard work up front doing those webinars for you and inviting those people to them. We also have our own private licensee website for support that has over 300 business documents, over 100 hours of in-depth training, interviews with successful other licensees, owners, weekly industry updates, ongoing training webinars, access to a physician partner that you can partner with, personalized books by Dr. Vicki Rackner, and the Done For You webinar. So folks, well, Eric, we started that back in 2014, so that's what, 6 years of materials that are out there on that side as well.
And part of your marketing campaign and strategy is that you become part of the new thriving medical practice. Patrick, you want to talk to them about that? We got about 5 minutes left here for the top of the webinar here. So,
all right, basically, folks, this is a book that I wrote along with Dr. Vicki Rackner, and you can put your name on the front cover as having written the foreword. We have a foreword that's already written. You can put your name on, or you can write your own, either way. And as you can see, after the foreword, you can actually put your contact information, your company name, phone number, address. This is a perfect marketing tool because it builds credibility with the doctors. Eric, I've had licensees give this book out. Doctors have called them up and said, hey, I just read your book. You're not really an author of the book, but your name's on the cover. So they go, I've read your book and I think I need help. So it's a wonderful tool for marketing. I can't emphasize that no other company does anything like this for our licensees.
And towards the end, you know, the last thing that you get from us is not only all of that, you get certified by us as a certified medical revenue manager, again, by the Medical Revenue Management Association of America, MERMA. Again, MERMA is the one that will produce those done for you webinars. They're doing all sorts of things to help you build your business out there. So Patrick, again, as we kind of wrap up, we've done a lot. We've done a comparison about, you know, franchises compared to what it is with ABS and the money, everything. Gosh, we packed in a lot here in today's webinar.
Yeah, Mike, one of the reasons we're not a franchise is because you're not limited in your territory. Somebody else asked, in fact, specifically about the exclusive territory. There is nothing exclusive about this, folks, because let's say you sign up a doctor in your own area. That doctor knows another doctor in another part of the country. They'll refer you to that doctor, and yes, over the phone and through internet and email, you can set that doctor up. never have to even visit that doctor. We've got licensees, again, that I've interviewed that will tell you they've got licensee doctors all over the country. So you're not limited to that. And as we said earlier, there's no franchise fees, no royalties that you pay to ABS. After you've paid your initial fee, that's it. We don't ever get another penny directly from you. Okay, Eric, I want to talk about our money back guarantee. I mentioned it earlier, but it's real simple. You go through our training, you don't like it, just ask for your money back. Eric,
Yep.
it doesn't get any easier than that for people to make a decision. I
Right.
can't imagine going with a company that doesn't give you that kind of guarantee, because there's something wrong if they think that they can, sneak you through, get your money, and then they got it. They're not going to let you ever have it back. We have given money back over the years. A handful of people over the years have asked for their money back. So folks, what does that tell you? It tells you that we believe in what we're doing enough to be able to offer that guarantee. So ask your ABS rep. They're called business development reps, Eric. We came up with that term. It sounds better than a salesperson, right? We don't try to sell you, but we do guide you through it. Some of the ways we do that are through these steps. There's 5 steps you can take. First, look over our downloadable research guide. You'll see that here on the next slide. It's basically a PDF document that has over 50 pages of information in it, folks. As you can see, it's just chock full of good information that you won't get by just looking at our website. Then browse our YouTube channel. We have a YouTube channel out there called youtube.com/YABS.
Yeah, there we go. There it is.
Okay, yeah, there it is. And so go out and browse that, folks. You're going to see literally hundreds of videos that we've done over the years that we've posted out there, including those interviews with about 175 people now, Eric, are out there. Ask your ABS rep for an owner reference list, folks. That's just a list of people, as I mentioned earlier, that have gone through our training. They've done their due diligence. They purchased the license. They've graduated. They've gotten certified, and they'll be glad to talk to you. You just have to call them and ask them whatever questions you want to. Then step 4 is ask for that live demo that Eric mentioned earlier of our iClaim EMRX platform. Remember, it's cloud-based, so we get online with you on our end, show you the system live, connected right to it through the internet, and you're watching it there on your computer at home. You can ask all the questions you want and get all the information you need. Then last but not least, review the purchase agreement and the funding instructions that we'll send to you about signing up with this. It's a simple 4-page agreement, and it goes into detail with the lifetime service and support and the money back guarantee.
All right, before we start taking the questions here, Patrick, let's just kind of wrap it up here with the training, what that training looks like, and then we're going to share a little bit about the webinar that we're going to do next week.
Yeah, folks, our training is done online. We used to do it live here at a hotel in Dallas, and we moved towards this, by the way, back in October of last year, Eric, right before the pandemic hit there in March. Yeah. So it's a live one-on-one with a live instructor, somebody who's actually in the business themselves and have been in the business many years and can show you exactly what works and doesn't work. They have 8 modules that they go through that are 60 to 90 minutes apiece. And then after that's over, you have basically graduated and get your certificate. But you have that online access to over 50 additional hours of video training that's on our licensee website that I mentioned earlier. So folks, it doesn't get any better than this. Live one-on-one with an instructor. You're the only one on there unless you have a partner or spouse, and you can ask all the questions you want.